The silent sentinel. The endless black of space stretched before Commander Lyra Novak like an obsidian canvas, punctuated by distant pinpricks of starlight. Omega 9 Research Station hummed with its usual quiet intensity, a metallic sanctuary floating at the very edge of human-explored space. Lyra's fingers traced the holographic displays, her eyes scanning endless streams of astronomical data. Something was different today. The station's quantum sensors, typically as predictable as a metronome, were dancing with an erratic rhythm that sent a chill down her spine. Most of her crew would dismiss it as cosmic background noise, but Lyra knew better. In her 15 years of deep space exploration, she had learned to trust those subtle vibrations that spoke of something beyond normal perception. "Lieutenant Rodriguez," she called out, her voice cutting through the ambient hum of the station's life support systems. "Pull up the quantum resonance readings from Sector 7 Delta. Something's not adding up." Rodriguez, a young analyst with sharp eyes and an even sharper mind, brought up the data. His brow furrowed almost immediately. "Commander, these readings, they're unlike anything in our database. It's as if something is generating quantum interference, but the source is undefined." Lyra leaned closer to the holographic display. The quantum signature flickered and pulsed, defying every known pattern of stellar radiation, gravitational waves, or known cosmic phenomena. It was deliberate, calculated, alive. "Filter out known stellar interference," she commanded. "I want to see the raw signal." The display shifted, stripping away layers of cosmic background noise. What remained was both beautiful and terrifying. A pattern emerged, complex, intricate, and undeniably artificial. It wasn't a natural phenomenon. It was a message. Outside the station's reinforced viewports, space remained unchanged. The same endless black, the same distant stars. But something had fundamentally shifted. "Encrypt and transmit these findings to Earth Command," Lyra ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Use our highest security quantum channel. This isn't just data. This is a warning." Lieutenant Rodriguez's hands flew across the quantum encryption interface. "Transmission initiated, Commander. But what exactly are we warning them about?" Lyra's eyes never left the pulsing quantum signature. "Something is coming, and it's nothing like we've ever encountered before." The station's systems continued their rhythmic pulse, oblivious to the momentous discovery unfolding within its metal corridors. Omega 9 had always been humanity's silent sentinel at the edge of the known universe. Today, it had become something more. The first line of defense against an unknown threat that was already reaching out across the cosmic void. Little did Commander Lyra Novak know that this moment would mark the beginning of humanity's most extraordinary challenge. The quantum message was more than just a signal. It was a harbinger of a conflict that would reshape the very understanding of human existence in the universe. As the encrypted transmission raced across light years, carrying its cryptic warning, the first chapter of an unprecedented cosmic drama was about to unfold. Whispers of the Void. The interstellar communication hub at Lunar Base Alpha was a marvel of human engineering. A sprawling network of quantum transceivers and advanced communication arrays that formed the nervous system of humanity's extrastellar presence. Lieutenant Darian Rice sat at the heart of this technological wonder, his fingers dancing across quantum encryption interfaces that seemed to breathe with living intelligence. When the encrypted transmission from Omega 9 arrived, it didn't so much arrive as materialize. A quantum ghost slipping through layers of security that would have stopped any conventional message. Darian's neural interface tingled, an almost imperceptible sensation that told him something extraordinary had just happened. "Decrypt sequence initiated," he muttered, more to himself than to the holographic displays surrounding him. The message from Commander Novak was unlike anything he'd seen before. Quantum signatures that seemed to writhe and change even as he analyzed them, patterns that defied conventional mathematical models, and an underlying complexity that suggested something far beyond a simple communication. Dr. Elena Volkov, the station's chief quantum linguist, materialized beside him, her holographic projection crisp and immediate. "Those quantum harmonics," she said, her Russian accent cutting through the technical jargon. "They're not just a message. They're a cipher within a cipher." Darian's eyes narrowed. He had spent years decoding the most complex interstellar communications, but this was different. The quantum signature seemed to change subtly with each attempt to analyze it, as if it were alive or watching. "Run a recursive decryption protocol," he instructed the station's eye. "Use the Riemann quantum translation matrix." The holographic displays erupted with a cascade of symbols, mathematical equations that seemed to dance and intertwine. For a moment, something flickered at the edge of perception. A pattern, a glimpse of meaning that was simultaneously there and not there. "Partial translation acquired," the AI announced, its voice carefully modulated to convey neither excitement nor concern. "Initial interpretation suggests a spatial-temporal coordinate system embedded within the quantum signature." Dr. Volkov leaned closer, her holographic form flickering slightly. "It's not just a message," she whispered. "It's a navigation system." But navigation to what? The coordinate system began to take shape, a complex three-dimensional map that extended far beyond known space, regions of space that humanity had never explored, marked with intricate quantum markers that seemed to pulse with an almost organic rhythm. Darian felt a chill run down his spine. This was more than a communication. This was an invitation, or a challenge. "Initiate deep scan protocol," he commanded. "I want every microscopic detail of these coordinates analyzed. Cross-reference with every astronomical database we have." As the station's systems hummed to life, processing the extraordinary data, Darian couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The quantum signature was more than information. It was a living thing, reaching out across the vast emptiness of space. Something was coming, and humanity was about to receive an invitation it might not be prepared to accept. The communication hub continued its silent vigil, quantum transceivers spinning their invisible web of information. But something had fundamentally changed. The universe had just spoken, and it was speaking a language humanity was only beginning to understand. Forge of Resilience. The Advanced Technological Research Center in New Geneva stood as a testament to human innovation, a gleaming complex of quantum laboratories and cutting-edge research facilities that pushed the boundaries of scientific understanding. At its core was Dr. Zara Kovalenko's Quantum Engineering Division, a place where the impossible was merely a problem waiting to be solved. Zara stood before a massive holographic display, her fingers tracing intricate quantum matrices that seemed to breathe and shift with living intelligence. The transmissions from Omega 9 and the Lunar Communication Hub had been forwarded to her team, and what they revealed was both terrifying and exhilarating. "The quantum signature is more than just a communication method," she explained to her team of senior researchers. "It's a complex dimensional interface that suggests technologies far beyond our current understanding." Dr. Rajesh Mehta, her lead quantum physicist, zoomed in on a particularly intricate section of the signal. "These harmonic resonances, they're not just information transmission. They're a form of spatial manipulation we've only theorized about." The room buzzed with a mixture of scientific excitement and profound concern. Humanity had always been at its best when faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges. This mysterious signal was pushing them to their absolute technological limits. Zara's mind was already racing. The quantum signature suggested technologies that could manipulate space-time itself, a concept that had been nothing more than theoretical physics just decades ago. Now it was becoming a potential reality. "We need to develop a defensive response," she announced, her voice cutting through the ambient hum of quantum processors. "Something that can interface with these dimensional harmonics." Her team began working with a feverish intensity. Quantum shields that could adapt to changing dimensional frequencies. Adaptive communication arrays that could interpret and potentially respond to the mysterious signal. Defensive technologies that could protect humanity from a threat they barely understood. In a sealed laboratory deep within the facility, experimental quantum generators hummed to life. Prototype devices that could potentially create localized space-time distortions began to take shape. Each breakthrough was a testament to human ingenuity. The ability to transform the unknown into a tool of survival. "We're essentially trying to build a technological language," Dr. Mehta observed, "to communicate with something we can't even fully comprehend." Zara understood the profound nature of their work. This wasn't just about defense. It was about humanity's first true attempt to communicate with something completely beyond their current understanding. Every calculation, every quantum algorithm was a bridge being built across an unimaginable void. As night fell over New Geneva, the research center continued its relentless work. Quantum processors spun complex scenarios. Adaptive algorithms learned and relearned, and humanity's most brilliant minds worked to transform a potential threat into an opportunity for understanding. The mysterious signal had issued a challenge, and humanity was preparing to respond. Outside the facility, most of the world remained unaware of the extraordinary developments taking place. But within these walls, the future was being written, one quantum calculation at a time. Zara looked at the holographic display, a mix of determination and wonder in her eyes. Whatever was coming, humanity would be ready. They would transform the unknown into knowledge, the threat into an opportunity for growth. The forge of human resilience was heating up, and its fire would soon light up the cosmos. The gathering storm. United Earth Defense Command headquarters rose from the Colorado mountain range like a fortress of steel and quantum technology. Admiral Marcus Takeda stood in the central command chamber, a holographic representation of the solar system spinning slowly before him. Red markers pulsed with mounting intensity, each one representing potential approach vectors based on the mysterious quantum signal decoded by the research teams. "We're looking at an unprecedented strategic scenario," Takeda announced to the assembled senior military commanders and scientific advisors. His voice carried the weight of decades of strategic experience, tempered by a calm that belied the gravity of their situation. Colonel Imani Okoro, head of interstellar reconnaissance, brought up a detailed analysis. The quantum signatures suggest multiple potential entry points. They're not just random. There's a calculated precision to these approach vectors that suggests advanced technological capabilities far beyond our current understanding. The holographic display flickered, revealing complex dimensional projections that looked more like living organisms than traditional military strategic maps. Each potential approach was a branching network of probability, a testament to the complexity of the potential threat. "Our defensive protocols are evolving," Takeda continued. Dr. Kovalenko's team has developed quantum adaptive shields that can potentially interface with these dimensional harmonics. We're no longer talking about traditional space warfare. This is a conflict that will be fought across multiple dimensional planes. The room fell silent. The implications were staggering. Humanity was preparing for a conflict that defied everything they understood about war, space, and technological interaction. Deep within the command center, quantum communication arrays began to spin up. Prototype defense satellites, each equipped with the latest adaptive technologies, were being positioned at strategic points throughout the solar system. They were no longer just defensive platforms, but living networks of quantum adaptive technology. "Launch sequence for defensive grid," a computer voice announced. "Quantum entanglement protocols at 78% synchronization." Colonel Okoro leaned in, her dark eyes intense. "We're essentially creating a living shield around our solar system. Each satellite can adapt, communicate, and respond to threats we can't even fully comprehend." Admiral Takeda watched the holographic display, his mind racing through countless potential scenarios. This was more than a military deployment. This was humanity's first true test of survival against an unknown cosmic threat. Communication lines buzzed with encrypted transmissions, the data from Omega-9, the quantum research from New Geneva, the strategic analyses from Defense Command. All were converging into a single complex network of preparation. "We're not just defending," Takeda muttered, more to himself than to anyone else. We're learning, adapting. Outside the command center, the world continued its daily rhythm, unaware of the extraordinary preparations being made. Cities hummed with their usual energy. People went about their lives, completely oblivious to the cosmic storm gathering at the edges of human-controlled space. But within these walls, humanity was preparing for its most significant moment, a moment that would define their place in the universe. The gathering storm was almost upon them, and humanity would meet it with every ounce of innovation, determination, and resilience it could muster. Crucible of humanity. The solar system's outer reaches had become a battlefield unlike any in human history. Quantum adaptive defense satellites created a living shield, pulsing with energy that defied conventional understanding of space and time. The mysterious signal that had begun as a whisper from Omega-9 had transformed into a full-scale confrontation. Commander Lyra Novak stood on the bridge of the UES Horizon, the most advanced quantum-adaptive vessel ever constructed. Beside her, Lieutenant Darian Rice managed the communication systems, while Dr. Zara Kovalenko's prototype quantum interface hummed with an almost sentient energy. Incoming dimensional distortion, Rice announced, his fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. We're about to make first direct contact. The space around them began to warp. It wasn't like the traditional hyperspace jumps humanity had mastered. This was something entirely different. Reality itself seemed to fold and twist, creating impossible geometries that challenged human perception. Admiral Marcus Takeda's voice came through the quantum communication link. Hold position. Do not engage unless absolutely necessary. But necessity was about to become unavoidable. The first of the unknown entities emerged, not a ship in any traditional sense, but a living network of quantum energy that seemed to breathe and think. It was a being of pure information, of consciousness that existed beyond physical limitations. Dr. Kovalenko's eyes widened. It's not just a technological entity, she breathed. It's a form of collective intelligence we've never encountered. The quantum interface she had developed began to pulse, not as a weapon, but as a communication device. Layers of mathematical complexity began to form, creating a bridge of understanding that transcended language. We're attempting to communicate, Lyra commanded, her voice steady despite the unprecedented nature of the moment. What followed was less a battle and more a complex dance of intelligence. The quantum adaptive technologies developed by humanity began to interface with the mysterious entities. It wasn't about destruction, it was about understanding. Streams of information flowed between humanity's most advanced technologies and the cosmic intelligence. Centuries of human knowledge, scientific discovery, cultural complexity, all became part of an instantaneous exchange that pushed the boundaries of comprehension. Lieutenant Rice watched in awe as quantum algorithms translated impossible concepts. They're not attacking, he realized. They're testing us, evaluating our potential. The space around the UES horizon continued to twist and transform. Dimensional barriers became fluid, with humanity's quantum technologies acting as a bridge between different levels of existence. Dr. Kovalenko's quantum interface reached a critical point of synchronization. We're establishing the communication protocol, she announced. They're sharing something, a map of cosmic evolution, potential pathways of technological development. It was first contact reimagined, not as a conflict, but as an exchange of potential. Hours passed in what seemed like moments. The mysterious entities began to withdraw, leaving behind a transformed understanding of the universe. They had not come to conquer or destroy, but to assess humanity's readiness to join a broader cosmic community. As the dimensional distortions began to subside, Commander Novak looked at her crew. They had just experienced something no human had ever witnessed before. We're not alone, she said quietly, and we're not just observers anymore. We're participants. The UES horizon hung in space, a testament to human innovation. The quantum adaptive technologies that had been developed in secret laboratories, in research stations at the edge of known space, had just passed their ultimate test. Humanity had not just survived. They had proven their potential to a cosmic intelligence beyond imagination. As the first reports began to stream back to Earth, one thing became clear: everything had changed. The universe was far more complex, far more alive than humanity had ever imagined. And this was just the beginning.